the games during Fort Wayne FC season. Tonight, we welcome players from Fort
Hello
Wayne
and welcome to the latest edition of Fort Wayne FC versus Chicago City, fellow USL2 team out of the, I believe, Heartland division. So not in the same division. This match, just a friendly tonight. Fort Wayne FC versus Chicago City. I'm your commentator, Caleb Saylor. Joining me on the other microphone, play-by-play, Luca Mata. Luca, good evening to you. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Tell us about the Chicago City team, because from my memory last year, they were pretty good. They did pretty well in their division.
Yeah. They had a record of 7-4-3 last season, and we're probably going to have a great game here. Good opportunity for guys that have not having a lot of time playing, and Coach Avery to also see these guys on the field.
And a familiar face with Chicago City as well, Victor Claudel, I believe, getting the start. Avid Fort Wayne FC fans will remember Victor Claudel from last year. Quite the player. Scored 2 or 3 goals, I believe, for the squad. Three holds up the number for Luca. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with Chicago City this year. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lineups here for both teams. First, let's go ahead and take a look at Fort Wayne FC. Once again, Ari Briscoe is in goal and Sulia on the back line, but we've got a couple of changes. Graham Regan, I believe Rodrigo Parafita getting the start. Another notable change, Chris Lee as well. Chris was a late addition to the squad, but for the most part, neither team really changing. And here's Chicago City. Starting in goal, Alex Vetnanoff. And then you can see number 19 there forward, Victor Claudel. We'll be interested to see how Chicago City performs this year. Obviously, both teams will probably have very refreshed lineups from last year to this. We know Fort Wayne FC certainly does. But Chicago City, I mean, Luca gave me their lineup, I believe, yesterday to prepare for the match. My goodness, they've got a very, very big roster. And they've got a lot of big universities from across the country represented on their roster.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise for the singing of our national anthem.
So now we're going to have the national anthem.
Artist Jensen Snyder.
Stripes and bright stars to the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streamed.
Okay.
And the rockets rank the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Jensen Snyder.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to one more game for Fort Wayne FC. Friendly game against Chicago City. A good opportunity for players that are not having many minutes on the field to show their quality, to show to their coach that they need more time on the field. Fort Wayne with a different formation that they used last game on the 1-0 win, and the season opener here in the same stadium, the Blue Shop Dusty Stadium at the St. Francis University. We can note that the number 10 that scored the goal last game, Alexander Frank, is on the bench. It's not even on the bench, to be honest. It's just resting for today. Tom Abrahamson also not playing, so we see some new faces. Good chances for these guys to show their qualities. This indeed is the first match ever between Chicago City and Fort Wayne. A friendly, and let's see how the teams are going to do today. First chance of the game, Fort Wayne FC playing a 4-3-3 with two wingers wide on the field. First chance of the game to the number 26 for Fort Wayne, our left back.
So I apologize in advance if you're watching at home. We are trying to get the clock started. This is a new streaming system for us, so bear with us. We'll get this clock started as soon as we can. We're in the 4th minute here at Bishop Darcy Stadium.
It's a corner kick for Chicago City. Good chance for them. On the left side, the cross coming in the front post. Great clearance by Ryan, by number 15 from Fort Wayne FC, Juan Romero. The ball comes back to Chicago City. Patrick on the ball. calm down. It's time for Chicago to have the ball after Fort Wayne had it in the first minute. Casas on the ball. Fort Wayne being pressed, but well done by Diaz to find Casas in the middle. Casas switch everything to the right side for the number 25. Chicago City on the ball, pressing back to Stevanov. The goalkeeper have time and finding the right side, Patrick. Patrick outside. Feeble pass, but outside of the field. And it's a throw-in for Fort Wayne FC. Well done by Casas. Got the fall. Used his body, protected the ball, and got a foul for Fort Wayne. A little bit forward of the 30-yard lane. Good chance for Fort Wayne FC with 5 minutes in the game to put this ball in the box. Some big guys inside the box. Here comes the first. Diaz could not connect the header. Diaz was one of the tall guys that I mentioned. Center back from the University at Albany. 20 games played for Albany in 2022, starting 18 of them with 2 goals and 2 assists. Solid numbers for a defender. He was already trying to put the ball on the back of the net. Was inches away to connect to this header. Chicago City on the ball. Fort Wayne having a best start of the game. Trying to press high and have the ball in the offensive side of the field. But now it's time for Chicago to have it. Number 6, Sami Shraf. Missed the pass. Here comes Fort Wayne FC in front of the goalie. Great chance for Fort Wayne FC, 3v2. And the number 34, Chris Lee, had the chance 1v1 with the keeper, but skied it. Great moment from Fort Wayne FC coming from a mistake of Sami Shraf, but Lee could not capitalize it. And here's another mistake, another chance for Fort Wayne FC, but bad pass from Casas. The ball goes back and forth, and Sami Shraf switch everything to the left side. And now Chicago City tries to control the game. Ball comes to the right side. Patrick on the ball. Looking for the 1-2. Good 1-2. And the balls go out of bounds again. Second time that Patrick tries to make a play on the right side and the ball goes out of bounds. He was looking for a 1-2. But not this time. The combination worked with AJ Franklin. Sulio on the ball. Sulio finds Lee inside. Lee that already had a great chance for Fort Wayne FC, 1v1 with the keeper with only 5 minutes on the game. Juan Romero, great dribble. Great dribble. Ball with Diaz. Diaz. The through pass, good pass. Great recovery from AJ Franklin. We are in that time of the game that the teams are studying each other, trying to understand what they are facing, what are the strengths and the weaknesses from the opponent. You can see that they move the ball side to side, trying to look for spaces, trying to understand where is the best spot to attack the opponent. Fort Wayne playing with the lines very high on the field, the defenders coming on the halfway line when pressing Chicago City. A different approach that they took against Kings Hammer. But it's working until this point. Fort Wayne FC having more the ball. Already had a good chance. Here comes the long ball. Good 55th. Antwi could not control it and the ball goes back to Chicago City. Patrick on the ball. The dribble. Finds AJ Franklin. AJ Franklin lost the ball to number 8. Seth Antwi and committed a foul. Seth Antwi, an experienced player, played for Manchester City under 15. One of the best academies in the world. Definitely a player for us to keep an eye on this game. Sully on the ball. Great long pass on the right side. Not the best decision from number 25, Graham Rigg. Lost the ball. And here comes Chicago City once again. Number 12, the captain, Juan Gutierrez. Long ball. Good pass from Stevanov. Stevanov very confident in the first minutes of the game with the ball in his foot. It's another turnover. Here comes Fort Wayne FC. Brenda inside the box, goes down. Not a foul, not a penalty. It's a counter-attack for Chicago City. Long ball, great pass. Finding number 19, Vitor Claudel, the former Fort Wayne FC player. Pass back, decided to keep the ball. And Chicago City is now attacking Fort Wayne FC. Fort Wayne FC with the block really low at this moment. Patrick looking for a long ball for Claudel, but it's too far for him. And it goes straight to Briscoe hands. Briscoe, that in the previous game against King's Hammer, made a great save on the end of the first half. Kept a clean sheet. Good debut for the keeper in the last game. Casas. Well played by Casas. Gizer on the left side. Diaz on the ball. Sulio. Sulio and Diaz controlling the ball. Great pass from Diaz. Here comes Patrick. Good interception from Patrick. And we find Julio on the right side. Julio with the long ball. Off the line. Stevanov. Lee. To Casas. Casas. Great moment for Fort Wayne FC. Here comes the cross. It's on the box. A deflection. And he needed more power on this ball. Stevanov got it. Good start of the game for Stevanov. Even though Chicago City is not doing very well with the ball, not connecting many passes, Stevanov showing to be a great keeper, both with the hands and with the foot. Comfortable with the ball and being very solid when they needed him. Patrick. Casas, great tackle by Casas. Casas controlling the midfield for Fort Wayne FC. Switch. Great start of the game for Casas. Sulio. Using Briscoe. Briscoe switch to Diaz. Diaz on the ball, looking for an option. Casas on the middle. Casas to Sulio. Definitely the players that are going to touch more the ball for Fort Wayne FC. Diaz, Sulio, and Casas. The players that are responsible for the build-up. Switching many passes already on this game. And looking to put their players in good situations just like this. Good dribble inside by Antwi. Antwi, he has space. Switch everything to the right side. Here comes the cross. Front post. Gutierrez on the ball. Good clearance by the captain from Chicago City. Casas on the ball again. Casas and Julio. Diaz has the ball. Pass back to Julio. Julio has space. Use Lee. Lee back to Diaz. Diaz and Julio having an important mission today to build up and find the attackers in good situations just like this. Here comes the 1v1. Inside. Takes the shot. Then it goes away. Great chance for Fort Wayne FC. in Coach Graham, winning the 1v1, cutting inside and trying to find the top corner, was inches away to score a great goal here with 14 minutes in the first half. Good start of the game for Fort Wayne FC. Already 2 chances to score. Creating chances, pressing high just like this. Casas could not intercept, but got the deflection, and it's a throw-in for Chicago City. Claudel using the body, tries to turn, and it's a foul. Handball of Claudel. Possession for Fort Wayne FC. And here they come again. Diaz, Casas, Sulio, trying to build up and find the offensive players. Sulio on the ball. Sulio and Diaz. Chicago City putting only 1 player to defend Sulio and Diaz. And they are going to frustrate this guy very soon. AJ Franklin trying to defend both of them. But it's a lot for him. Claudia on the ball. 1-2. Good connection. Switch. Finds in the middle the number 6. And the ball goes wide in the left side. Cuts inside. Here comes the cross. Too strong. The ball is going to run all the way for a goal kick for Fort Wayne FC.
So thank you for hanging with us. The issues with the game clock hopefully have been resolved. So we appreciate that. It seems like to me, and you've been watching most of this match while I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to solve these technology issues, that Fort Wayne has really been the top dog here in the first 15 minutes. Correct, Luca?
Yeah, a different approach for the in the game than Fort Wayne FC had in the last game. The team is trying to press high and not giving any space for Chicago City. So already had 2 chances on the game and forced Chicago City to commit many turnovers in these only 16 minutes of the game. So yeah, Fort Wayne FC definitely controlling the game and trying to score early on. Now you can see Chicago City trying to put more players high on the field to prevent Sulio and Diaz to have the space and the calm they are having on the ball to connect the passes that are killing Chicago City in these first minutes of the game.
So a pretty good ball forward there by Sulia, something we saw a lot of in the last match against Kings Hammer for Fort Wayne FC. That sort of short, long from the back. And forwards actually doing really well, both last match and this match, to control those long balls. Claudel for Chicago City trying to get on the end of it there. And Thiago Diaz able to see it out. It's going to be a throw-in for Chicago. Here's Claudel. Fort Wayne trying to clear their lines. Out to Patrick Pivas. Good block there by Nkosi Graham. Just to sort of stop the attack there, but Chicago City not letting up. And offsides for Chicago. Here's Diaz. Over to Zulia. And you can see Fort Wayne really trying to work their system of play, so to speak. They're not rushing things. They're being methodical. They're playing how they want to play. They don't necessarily want to force anything. And that's pretty important early on in the season, trying to build that style of play up, especially when two teams have only had a week or so of playing together. Ball falls to A.J. Franklin here. Franklin not able to get around Casas. Diaz clears his line. Antwi closing down the Chicago City midfielder quickly. Here's Sharaf. Out to Pives. And the through ball to Alessandro D'Argento. Not able to connect, and Fort Wayne able to regain possession here.
Caleb, what you said about the style that Fort Wayne FC is trying to build, something that they can take advantage of is the quality of the center backs they have. Last game, here, you can go.
It was a good ball over top, and perhaps if Nkosi Graham was a little bit taller, he might have been able to get on the end of it. But as you were saying, Luca.
Yeah, as I was saying, like the last game, Reed Sprott and Sulio had a great game together, and we could attest their quality on the ball. And today Diaz entered on the team, and the level didn't drop, not even a little. Like the three players that I mentioned, Diaz, Sulio, and Reed Sprott, like very confident on the ball, like playing passes through the opponent team. So this is something Fort Wayne FC can take advantage of, their capacity of build up the game.
So a foul against Chicago City. Sam Sharaf just gets into the back of the Fort Wayne player there. Nothing super harmful, but Fort Wayne playing quickly here. Zulia trying to play it short there, but can't find somebody to get it to. Kumwenda, good ball in. I believe this is Rag. And Nkosi's going to try to see the ball out, not able to shield off the Chicago City defender. It was a dangerous cross in. A bit of a mishit cross there, but Chicago City out of danger, and it's going to be a throw-in.
Good combination on the right side, number 7. Kumwenda being very smart, dropping, bringing with him the left back from Chicago City and opening the space for number 25, Graham Rigg, to attack the space behind the last line, the back four for Chicago City. Great play for Fort Wayne FC.
Good defense there from Fort Wayne, but referee calls a foul against the Fort Wayne defender. It's a fairly dangerous position, too. About 30 yards out, you're at this level at least probably going to cross it in a little too far out to take a shot, but everybody's got their own level of comfort here. And I believe this is Sharaf and D'Argento standing over the free kick. Sharaf, body position-wise, looks like he's going to go for a shot here. Doesn't really look like D'Argento's going to swing this in. Briscoe's got to be aware of that near post. Shots away. Briscoe spills it. But he collects the second bite there. And that ball had a little bit of spin on it, but Briscoe should have done better there to keep a hold of it. That ball didn't have a lot of pace on it. It still did well enough to keep things all squared here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Fort Wayne FC player still down. That's Henry Kumwenda on the header. Went up and just collided with the player. Sort of leaning over like he might have a nosebleed. Trying to keep something off the that pristine white kit there. Both teams using this as an opportunity to get a water break here. Early on in the season, playing on the turf, we've had quite a bit of sunshine today, and while it's not particularly hot, playing on turf can be about 10 to 20% hotter than what the actual air temperature is. So, for example, if it's 70 degrees and sunshine and you're playing on the turf, it could range anywhere from 77 to 85 degrees playing on the turf, and it's not easy doing that, especially early on in the season when two clubs haven't really had a whole lot of time to work together.
And as we could see in the image, and as we can see here in the stadium, the bench of Chicago City now at this point is much more active, much more agitated than Fort Wayne FC, because they know that these first minutes are being controlled by Fort Wayne FC. So the coaches, the staff of Chicago City trying to find solutions, trying to pass instructions for the team to correct some small details and come back to the game a little bit better than they did in these first 26 minutes almost that we had here.
And while not super familiar with Chicago City's preseason, I believe this is a preseason match for them. I don't believe Chicago City has had a league match quite yet. Granted, the USL 2 season only started about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. But teams are still collecting their players, trying to get them together. And Chicago City, one of the teams in the Heartland Division, I haven't played a match yet. They're in a tough division. Chicago City finished third. Don't quite remember who finished second, but the team who finished first in their division, USL 2 champions Des Moines Menace. And for the past couple of years, they've been a very good squad, and that is not a team I think anybody wants to come up against. Because I wouldn't be surprised again with their first week result coming out with a big win Des Moines Menace did, that they make another big run into the tournament. So we're back underway after an injury to Henry Kumwenda. He's off on the sideline waiting to come on here. Misplaced pass to Sulia. Reg does well to sniff out the second pass there. Good tackle by the Chicago City player. And here comes Chicago. And Sharoff just cut off by the two Fort Wayne players, and Fort Wayne's coming the other way. Nkosi Graham, he's got some speed, not able to get around Pivas there. That was a good tackle by the Chicago City defender. Pivas showing his pace there as well. Not too many people are keeping up with Nkosi Graham, so it was very impressive from the Chicago defender. A foul against Chicago.
Yeah, in the beginning of the game, in these minutes that we had so far, one of the best matchups that we are having is this on the left side of the field, no?
I agree. Two pacey players battling it out. And Graham in the first week showed how he can get into the attack. Not only his pace, but his quick footwork as well. His shiftiness is what we'll call it. Not necessarily always a nice word to use to describe people's shiftiness, but he does that very well. Here's Claudel. Over to Sharaf. Sharaf fouled by, I believe, Anchui, who's captaining the side today. And it's going to be an outswinger here. Actually, coach for Chicago City changing the instructions here. Kosi Graham does well just to get out of that wall to stop the short pass. The cross in, the header. Well over the crossbar. It was a good ball delivered in, but not able to time the header just right, and it's a goal kick for Fort Wayne. And we've got a substitution here for Fort Wayne. Adam McAllen featuring for Fort Wayne FC for the first time in a long time. The defender, I'll be interested to see who he's going to come in for.
If I had to guess, I would say Casas.
Luis
Played almost 90 minutes against Kings Hammer. Left the field with something physical in the last game. I wasn't even expecting to see him on the field today, and already played 30 minutes. So I would say Casas is going to step out to get some rest.
And I'll say, Casas hasn't looked bad either for having picked up an injury last match. Here's Kumwenda, shot away. Had some pace, but not enough direction on it. I believe it's going to be a corner kick deflection off the Chicago City defender. There's that shot again. Kumwenda rifling it off his foot. Can't see who the corner taker is. It's going to be an in-swinger here. Ball's away. Anchui. And it's a goal! I'm not sure Sulia knew much about it. Anchui stepping right in front of him. Anchui's going to claim it. And Fort Wayne FC take the lead. Here's that shot again. A good ball delivered in. And Anchui did just enough to create some space to get away from his defender and to get his head on it. Here's another shot of it there. And just off of his head. And put it in the right place. And Fort Wayne FC up 1-0 here at Bishop Darcy Stadium.
Substitution coming into the match, number 6, Adam McLean, replacing number 14, Tomas.
It was good play all around from Fort Wayne. Good ball delivered into a dangerous spot. Chicago attacking the other way. The shot. And it's off the crossbar. And he's onside. Victor Claudel answers quickly for Chicago City. Fort Wayne didn't do well there to track Josh Torres in the center. And the shot off the crossbar, or excuse me, the post. And Claudel able to clean it up. So we're all squared in just a moment's time here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Fort Wayne FC 1, Chicago City 1.
Chicago City goal by number 19, Victor Claudel.
And Luca, it looked like to me, Fort Wayne really just turned off for just a moment and lost track of that defender, right?
Yeah, it's very common after a goal to relax a little. Here comes Fort Wayne FC. It's very common after a goal to relax a little. Parafita.
The shot's away from Parafita. Nice save.
But I would say that Fort Wayne FC was a little bit unlucky too, because number 25, Graham Rick, was able to tackle the ball, but the ball went backwards, hit the post, and found Claudel free to score, to just step in. So I would say a little bit unlucky from Fort Wayne FC on this goal scored by Claudel, that of course would score today. We have in Brazil we say there is a X law that every time a player play against a former club, he scores. So he had to.
And Claudel, he has that striker's instinct too. He knows when to go for that ball. He knows when to just put in that little extra effort, that little extra foot to try to get on the end of it there. And he did well to not give up on it when maybe some other players very well might.
And just to not pass without mentioning it, great cross from Parafita in the first goal. He's having quite a match so far, taking advantage of this opportunity to play in this friendly. Great cross for Antwi to score in the first goal.
So Fort Wayne coming the other way. Chris Lee not able to control the pass. And we did get that substitution and all of that mayhem there. And I believe you were correct that Casas came off and McAllen is on.
Yeah, it makes sense for Fort Wayne FC. As I said, Casas played almost 90 minutes in the first game of the season against Kings Hammer. So it makes sense to give him some rest. Played well in the first 30 minutes that he had on the field, but it's time to get some rest.
Claudel trying to deliver it in. Not able to get it past Diaz. Lee finds Antwi. And McAllen up to Graham. And Fort Wayne trying to counter quickly. Pivas does well to track back. Pivas just lets that ball roll out for a throw-in for Fort Wayne. And I apologize. It was actually Kumwenda who Lee was trying to connect with. Kumwenda and Kosi Graham have actually swapped sides. You'll like to see that throughout the game. Two forwards for Fort Wayne FC moving back and forth, trying to find the best space they can before trying to pull defenders out of position. Here's Diaz. Gives it on. He's fetting off for Chicago. Not messing about, clears it out for a throw-in. Chicago trying to play out of the back. Finding Torres. Torres just misplacing that pass there. Throw in for Fort Wayne. Claudel trying to head it on there. Plays it out to Pivas. Pivas is in a little bit of space, running into Fort Wayne defender. There's Diaz, Kumwenda. Flick. And a foul. Committed by Victor Claudel. And Claudel just going to get a talking to from the center official. Fort Wayne electing to play it short. McAllen trying to find Lee, but just trying to force that pass a little bit. Pass doesn't come off from Chicago. Fort Wayne able to intercept. Here's Kumwenda. Parafita overlapping. Delivers it in first time. Not able to do enough to get past the first defender. An incidental handball committed by Fort Wayne. And that was a good bit of play there by Parafita, just trying to get it off first time, not letting the Chicago defender close him down any more than what he would have been.
Yeah, this is something that already worked on the right side. These overlaps from the fullbacks, and it's working very well on the left side with Parafita combining with Graham here, and now this time with Kumenda. This is something Fortune FC can explore more because the wingers of Chicago City are not tracking back.
So here's Pivas. He's in. Shot wide. And so wide. Going out for a throw-in. Apologize. That was Torres on the shot. Chicago just doing well to do that short triangle passing back and forth 1-2 to break the defense of Fort Wayne FC, if only briefly. Chicago trying to come the other way, but Dion snips it out. Parafita plays it long. Chris Lee able to get on the end of it. He's in a lot of space. He needs to use his pace here. And I'm not sure why he chose that option. He didn't have a defender around him. Would have at least used his pace a little bit to try to get into the attack to develop something instead. Electing to take the slower route.
Yeah, Caleb, the game is technical, tactical, but it's also mental, right? Like 15 seconds before he decided to keep this ball, he was tackled twice by the left back from Chicago City. So I think he just saw him again and decided to not face the 1v1, you know? So I think it was a little bit of lack of confidence from Lee on this time.
The ball over top from Sulia, trying to find Rig. He's not able to keep it in. It's going to go in for a throw, and it was a good idea from Sulia. Rig was in some space. The ball just hopping over it.
And continuing on this like mental side of the game, Fort Wayne was controlling it, was having the ball, creating chances, and the quick answer that Chicago City had on the game put them on the game. So we can see the difference on the performance of Chicago City before and after he scored the goal. The team actually improved a lot and is creating good chances.
So Chicago breaking the other way. Franklin, shot, pass. Briscoe. And he buries it, putting Chicago City up 2-1 here in the 42nd minute. Franklin did very well to use his pace there, leaving behind the two center backs for Fort Wayne, and a clinical finish by Franklin there. And in those 1v1 situations, you're almost always going to bet on the striker. Here's another look at it here. Good left-footed shot. Sulia trying to step in front of it.
Chicago City goal by number 25,
AJ Franklin able to bury it and put Chicago up just before halftime here in this friendly match between two USL 2 squads. Diaz trying to find Antwi. Pivas doing well to keep the ball in front of him. Here's Graham. Had to call his name out in a few minutes. Rig. Wisely slowing it down. Good switch. Parafita. Pass. Intercepted. It's out to Claudel. Good overlapping run by Pivas. Finding Franklin again. Not able to do anything with it. Sulia doing well to mark it.
Yeah, like once again to give credits to the assist. Claudel, very smart play on the second goal. Scored the first goal for Chicago City, and very smart in the second, getting the ball behind the halfway line and finding AJ Franklin in a 1v1 situation against Briscoe. Great pass from Claudel. The goal is going to be credit for AJ Franklin, but for sure you gotta thank Claudel for the great pass that he provided.
So I've just heard over my headset here, at least right now, there's going to be 3 added minutes at the end of the first half here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Throw in here for Fort Wayne in the dying minutes of the half. Diaz. Back to Sulia. I don't know if we just haven't called his name much, or if he just came in and I missed it. But Juan Romero, about one of the first times we've called his name tonight. Featuring for the squad. Approaching the 46th minute here. Referee holding up the board here. 3 minutes as Chicago City breaks. Shot off the post. And Pivas is going to collect. Shot away again. And good block by Diaz. Chris Lee, though, giving the ball back to Chicago. And Torres fighting for it here. Comes out to Sudeth. The shot. Diaz sees it out. Here's Kumwenda. It's going to be a throw-in for Chicago. And a dangerous few seconds there for Fort Wayne FC at the end of the half. Good connection there between Torres and Claudel. Perez. Cross. Yeah, Sky's clearance there. Sulia doing well to see it out. Here's Nkosi Graham. Trying to use his speed to get past the Chicago defender. He's calling for a foul. Center official says nothing doing. And we continue on here in the 47th minute.
And the momentum in the game is all for Chicago City. All for Chicago City. Josh Torres hitting the post in a great play on the left side. He that plays for University of Illinois Chicago. 8 goals in the last season.
Here's Romero looking for something. Not going to get it to Chris Lee. And the referee calls for a foul against the Chicago City defender. It's a good opportunity for Fort Wayne FC at the end of the half here. Try to equalize. I believe this is Parafita standing over it. Shot into the wall. Chicago's breaking quickly. Here's Franklin. Franklin on the backside, trying to find Claudel. I believe that was Romero able to clear his line. Out to D'Argento. And that's half here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Fort Wayne FC 1. Visitors Chicago City 2. 3 good goals by both teams. Fort Wayne FC scoring first before Chicago City equalizing just a moment later through the former Fort Wayne FC player Victor Claudel, and then extending their lead just a few minutes later from a great shot by Franklin. And that's going to do it for us here for the first half of Fort Wayne FC versus Chicago City. make sure to stay tuned
River Brewing.
for halftime highlights
Also,
sponsored by ProFed.
concession stand as well as
Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. Fort Wayne FC 1, Chicago City 2. And welcome back to Fort Wayne FC versus Chicago City. Here's some of the highlights from the first half. Chris Lee getting one off early on, but not able to convert. And here's the goal for Fort Wayne FC. Parafita, a good ball in. Antwi doing just enough to get on the end of it. Chicago City, the shot. Briscoe spilled, but a few moments later, Victor Claudel able to capitalize, and then, like Luca mentioned, good ball over top by Claudel, and Franklin able to bury it past Ari Briscoe. Fort Wayne, able to capitalize, Chicago City able to capitalize on, honestly, their few opportunities to put themselves ahead 2-1 here at half. So, as we come back to the match, Luca, what were your thoughts from the first half?
As we could see in the highlights, we can clearly divide the first half in two different halves. Like the first part, Fort Wayne FC started controlling the game, pressing high, creating chances, like playing really, really intense, having chances, scored a goal. And after the goal, looked like the team turned off, and Chicago City started to like more the game, create chances, and was able to score 2 goals, one with Victor Claudel and the second goal with AJ Franklin. So I would say Fort Wayne FC started really strong, created chances, pressed it high, and was better in the first 25-30 minutes. But in the last 15, the control and the dominance that Chicago City had on the game was able to give them 2 goals. So this is how we came to halftime with 2-1 in the scoreboard.
So we'll be back in just a moment here at Shields Field's last year's stadium, Bishop Darcy Stadium, for Fort Wayne FC versus Chicago City. Stay tuned.
These are the three that stepped out.
So Reg, Parafita, and Sulia are out. And Sprout, Cousins,
And Moriyasu.
and Moriyasu are the 3 players in for Fort Wayne. Moriyasu and Sprout getting a lot of minutes in the last game. Reed Sprout, one of the standout players for Fort Wayne last match over the weekend. It's a free kick for Chicago early on. Two players communicating here. D'Argento providing a short option for the free kick taker here. I believe it's Torres. Ball delivered in, back post. It's a good ball. And Gutierrez for Chicago not able to convert. And he was all alone in a lot of space on the backside there. That's not a good sign for Fort Wayne to start off this half, leaving a man unmarked on the backside. Antwi running out of real estate there, and it's going to be a throw in. Long ball over top. Claudel gets the second ball back. Evades one defender. Not able to evade Diaz. He's not messing about. Thumps it forward and says, let's go ahead and start again. So I'm still trying to work out who came off for Chicago. I don't know if you've been able to do that or not, Luca, but
Number 11, Josh Torres, is out. And number 17, Jack Finnegan, stepped in.
so once again the substitution there. Josh Torres for Chicago off. Jack Finnegan on here for the second half. And Fort Wayne getting pinned back pretty early here. Chicago doing well. And Moriyasu just lets it roll out of bounds for a throw-in. Fort Wayne applying pressure, but Sharaf able to turn out of space, but not able to complete the pass. Here's Lee. Once again, just slowing down play, not using any speed to try to break the defense. And foul against, I believe, Fort Wayne.
As we can see, Casas came back to the game and Romero stepped out for Fort Wayne too. This change for Fort Wayne FC. A team that needs to be more intense in the second half if they want to turn things around here. The team that started the game so well, playing like it was an official game, and now is playing like it's a training, like low intensity. Like we cannot see the movements that we got used to see in the first 30 minutes of the game, and they need to increase this intensity if they want to turn things around here, find a goal, and try to find 2 or more goals to win this game.
And how hard is it? Because it seems like now for 2 years in a row, Luca, Fort Wayne is getting ready to go on a long stretch of home or away matches, How difficult is it to be mentally prepared for that when, if Fort Wayne were to lose? How hard is that mentally to then prepare for, something like 3 weeks away from your fans.
Yeah, it's always hard to bounce back from a defeat and to play away games, but the key is to think one game each day, like one day after another, one game after another, and like focus on each game, and this way they can get the wins and they can overcome this hard time and come back home with some points on the back.
That's going to be a goal kick for Chicago. And there's another substitution that we've seen for Chicago, the goalkeeper swap. Thought that's what it was. Alex Svetanov off and Trevor Scher on for Chicago. So goalkeeper swap at halftime for Chicago. Foul against Chicago. Fort Wayne trying to play quickly. Here's Cousins. Cousins put under pressure, but Fort Wayne regained possession. Casas back to Sproat. Casas here trying to find a path through. Just clipped by the Chicago defender, D'Argento. And Casas is waving for another ball. And we're going to get back underway here. McAllen plays it quickly here. Here's Moriyasu. Casas, cross, deflected. It's going to go out for a corner kick here. And that was good pace there. Not just running, but off the ball as well. Getting into that position. Moriyasu threading that pass through. I looked at it and thought it was kind of questionable, but you know what? It came off. Fort Wayne were able to get a corner here. Cousins going to deliver it here. And Antwi standing in front of the goalkeeper here, just trying to crowd his space a little bit. This is what he did on his first goal as well. Ball delivered out to McAllen. Cross deflected. It was a good effort by Fort Wayne, but Chicago did well to block it. Moriyasu clipped the ball over top. Claudel climbs over top of Antwi, and it's going to be a yellow card for Claudel. And Chicago City not happy about it.
I think they're right. For what I saw here, not a foul. Not a foul. Fair tackle by Claudel, went up, went higher, won the 50-50 in the air. Not a foul for me. I think the yellow card was a little bit extra.
So Kumwenda and Cousins standing over the ball. Kumwenda the shot over the crossbar. It's going to be a goal kick. Chicago coming the other way. Here's Finnegan. Finnegan runs out of real estate. Moriyasu does well to shield him off the ball. It's going to be a goal kick for Fort Wayne. And coming up on the 58th minute, or we're in the 58th minute, coming up on the 60th minute here. I'd be surprised if Coach Avery doesn't make some changes here shortly, just to get a different flavor on the match. Franklin not able to get around Sproat. There's going to be a corner kick for Chicago. The ball's in, delivered to the back post, over everybody, and it's going to be a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Chris Lee didn't really look up for the pass. Kumwenda was in a lot of space, and now Chicago's coming the other way. Here's D'Argento. Back to Sudeth. Chicago playing the safe option here. Electing for a restart, playing it back to Cher. And as always, we apologize in advance if we mispronounce any of the names here. Unfortunately, the nature of the beast is we don't get these a whole lot in advance. And so if we mispronounce any names, I apologize. But let us know how to pronounce the names correctly, just in case, maybe we see Chicago City again. Here's Cousins. Cousins just trying to direct his teammates here to do what he would like. And the errant pass luckily falls back to Fort Wayne. Kumwenda out to Graham. Graham calls for a deflection off the Chicago City defender, but the referee says nothing doing there. We're going to go for another goal kick for Chicago. Long ball over top. Chicago not able to get on the end of it here. We've got at least two substitutes getting ready to come in for Chicago. I think I can see the board from here. AJ Franklin is coming off, and in his place, I believe, is Sidney Warden. So AJ Franklin, the second goal scorer for Chicago, getting ready to come off, and in his place will be Sidney Warden. And the second substitute coming on, we don't have information quite yet, but Chicago City in a dangerous position once again on this free kick. Ball delivered in low. Fort Wayne able to do just enough, and Montree just trying to use a little bit of pace to get on the end of it. Kumwenda fouls Sudeth, and it's another free kick a little bit further out for Chicago. Ball delivered in. Diaz does well to head it out first, but Finnegan able to get on the end of the header. Put a little bit under pressure there. Kicks it out for a goal kick. Going the way of Fort Wayne. Here's that substitution. Franklin off. Warden on.
And here comes trouble for Fort Wayne FC. Sidney Warden finished third in goals and points per game in 2021 season in D2, NCAA D2. So definitely somebody that can cause some trouble for Fort Wayne FC.
Here's the second substitution for Chicago.
Also entering for Chicago City, number 5, Jethro Umanji.
Jethro Umanji coming on and being substituted off Patrick Pivez. So Patrick Pivez, a good night for him, but his night is over. And in his place is Jethro Umanji for Chicago. So far, Chicago using 4 substitutes. Chicago still in the attack here. Chicago's really been the front team here this second half. Fort Wayne, few opportunities in the attacking half here. And yeah, it's just a friendly, but they'll want to find a way forward here in the last 15-odd minutes.
Yeah, Fort Wayne FC at this point of the game playing too casual. The game is very, very comfortable for Chicago City on this point, controlling the ball, switching side to side, keeping the ball possession, and eventually creating some chances. So, like, if we had to guess the next scorer on the goal, it would be Chicago City, not Fort Wayne FC. So, Fort Wayne FC better change their attitude, change their strategy to find something, to get something out of this game more than just the preparation.
Chicago still in possession here. McAllen doing well to put the Chicago back line under pressure. Chris Lee just cutting off the outside passing lane, but Chicago still able to make a connection. They're going to be called offside. Chicago coming the other way. Here's Claudel. Claudel fouled by Cousins. I think Claudel just kind of making a meal of this one. Just letting the ref know I was fouled. Putting on a little acting clinic there. Chicago's in a dangerous position once again. Sharaf and Argento standing over the ball. Shot. Just wide. From our angle, it looked like Briscoe had it covered. But Sharaf did well to get that shot around the wall there. Not able to make the most of that opportunity. Scrope trying to get Fort Wayne forward. Cousins just not quick enough to get on the end of it there. One of which to note, goalkeeper Saad Anatawi. Saad is taking off his warm-up top too. Saad only technically, I don't know if we want to call him a senior in high school or a freshman in college. Saad graduated from a local high school here, Canterbury High School, a semester early, so he could start training with Indiana University, one of the best college programs in the nation. And one of, I believe, 3 players on this roster from Fort Wayne. The way he's warming up on the sideline, it looks like he might get some minutes here at the end of the match. Funny anecdote, Luca. we heard from Coach Avery on Saturday night. Saad helping out the team, and then he had to get dressed for prom. He had prom right after the match on Saturday. So
Yeah.
good on him for staying committed to both the team and his relationships.
Yeah, such a young man, but very talented keeper, as you said, committed. Already started training with IU, one of the best soccer programs in the nation. So I hope that we are going to be able to see him in action here today, at least for some minutes.
McAllen trying to find Moriyasu, not able to keep it in. Good effort by Moriyasu. It's going to be a throw-in for Chicago. Finnegan able to evade the defender with the pass. Goes awry. And we've got, I believe, 2 more substitutions here. Coming on for Chicago, number 20, Patrick McKenna. And number 4, Zach Heitkemper. And actually the final substitute for Chicago is going to come on as well, Stefan Momoslavik. So Chicago getting ready to use their last 3 substitutes here in the dying minutes of the second half. We've got about 20 minutes or so to go. Fort Wayne trying to break forward here. They haven't been able to really build out of the back, so Sproat trying to thump it forward and just use some speed, but they haven't been successful with that half either, or this half either.
You see Caleb. Chicago City being able to play very confident on the ball, dribbling when they are the last man, as the number 15 just did, flicking the ball, one more dribble, like being very confident. They are not bothered at all by Fort Wayne FC at this moment of the game, and this is something that Fort Wayne FC have to change in the game. If not, the game is going to finish this way.
I just so happened to hear the substitutes over the opposite rooms intercom here. So coming off for Chicago, Sam Sharaf. In his place is Stefan Momoslavik. Number 24, Axel Alejandre. He'll be replaced by Zach Heitkemper. And the first goal scorer for Chicago, and the man who provided the second assist, Victor Claudel. His night's over. He'll be replaced by Patrick McKenna. And Fort Wayne players just starting to get their kits together as well.
Additional Chicago City substitutions.
From my vantage point here, Sean Karani, Sebastian Shalbad, and Sada Natawi are going to make an appearance tonight. So Natawi obviously will be replacing Briscoe.
Also entering the match, number 4, Zach Heitkemper, replacing number 24, Axel Alejandro.
And here's the throw. Fort Wayne
Number
coming the other
23,
way.
Stefan
Big
Momoslavik.
touch in the past.
Entering the match for number 6, Sammy.
Not onto the foot of Nkosi Graham. I don't think, while Casas is upset that Graham didn't receive that ball well, it wasn't that great of a pass, so I don't think he can be too upset. Cousins gets on the end of the long ball here. Cross delivered in. And scuffs the clearance, but Chicago's going to gather it here. Fort Wayne just don't have the numbers forward at this time to support that break. Chicago City doing very well to get back quickly to see some of those out.
Caleb, I understand Casas' frustration. Even though he was one of the guys on the field that played most minutes on the last game, he's the one trying things like tackling, trying to push counterattacks. So I can see the frustration. I can understand his frustration because he's trying, and apparently like he's one of the few that are trying something to change the scenario here.
Kumwenda comes up with the ball out of the tangle. Chicago defender doing well just to shield him off. Chicago coming the other way. Diaz does well to stand up. Chicago attacker D'Argento just to temporarily stop the attack. And you mentioned this earlier, Luca. Fort Wayne not really putting Chicago under pressure. They're very comfortable playing that ball back and forth. Not experiencing a whole lot of pressure. Here's Casas. Back to Sproat. McAllen was looking long. Didn't quite have Cousins. Here's Diaz. Moriyasu calling for the ball. Kosi Graham is the one who receives it. Here's Casas. Kumwenda called for a foul. The referee's going to allow the substitutions here. So the first substitute for Fort Wayne is going to be Sebastian Chabad in for Chris Lee.
Fort Wayne FC substitution. Into the match number 23, Sebastian Chabad, replacing Chris
We'll see the
Lee.
number for Sean Karani here in a second. We'll see who he's replacing. And Henry Kumwenda
Also entering for Fort Wayne,
His night's
number
over.
21, Sean Karani, replacing
being replaced by 21, Sean Karani. Long ball over top. Briscoe collects comfortably. Out to Cousins. Cousins fouled there trying to break away. Smart foul by Chicago. Just to break up that attack there. Charlotte commits the foul. And they've still got some time to influence the game, the substitutes do, but Fort Wayne's other players are going to have to support the substitutes who definitely have fresher legs. Chicago doing well to put the Fort Wayne back line under pressure. Here's Stroke. Diaz moving forward. Good pass to Cousins. Nice shift there. Here's Shawad. Out to Moriyasu. Moriyasu looking on the real estate with Shawad. Was able to connect with him. Out to Karani. Diaz just trying to connect with Karani on the through ball there, not able to get that.
Hey Calvin, here comes to the game for Fort Wayne FC, Namik Mehik, the youngest player ever to play for Fort Wayne FC, 16 years old. Here comes Fort Wayne.
And Namik, you mentioned, only 16 years old. He's the third player, I believe, on this roster from Fort Wayne getting to play in front of his home crowd. Scored 20 goals as a sophomore this past season for Northrop High School.
Yeah, a player that is doing really well in high school, and we know here he's going to play with some older guys. He's going to be different, the level is going to be different for him, but the talent's there, and we hope to see his talent.
And I was at the open tryouts that Namik was at, and in my opinion, he was one of the best players in the open tryouts. You could see his youth at times, his inexperience. But that talent is there, and especially in these friendlies, Coach Avery not afraid to give the youth a few minutes. McAllen, ball over top. Cousins, Karani runs out of real estate. It's going to be a corner kick for Fort Wayne here in the 79th minute. That was good quick play from Fort Wayne there. Karani maybe had a split second. But not able to get the shot away. So here's the substitutions. Sada Natawi on. Ari Briscoe off. Graham Nkosi Graham, coming off. And Namik Mehik is on. Cross delivered into the back post. Diaz sticking his foot to it. Namik immediately getting in on the action there, unfortunately, going the other way. Sproat doing well to instruct the youngin there. Just step in front of it. Don't let him play quickly. Sproat not able to get his head on it, but fouled by Sydney Warden. Fort Wayne playing quickly. Here's Casas. To Entree. Shabat. Out to Moriyasu. Riku misplaces the pass there, gives it away. Able to at least step in front of it temporarily. And you can see just a little spark of life from Fort Wayne here with these substitutes. Just a little bit quicker on the step here in the last few minutes. Only about 10 left. There hasn't been a whole lot of added time yet, except substitutions.
Yeah, Shabal being able to make an impact on the team already, changing the dynamic, looking for one-twos, looking for short passes, connecting with Casas. So Fort Wayne have a good chance to create some chances in those last minutes that they still have in the game.
Mandri does well to get in front of Cousins there and draw the foul against Fort Wayne. Diaz does well to climb. Sproat put under pressure here and just clears it out. Center ref makes the call. Throw in for Chicago. Fort Wayne trying to work through the attack. Here's Shavat. Camera one, click right down just a smidge more. Shavat and Casas doing well to retain possession there in the midfield for Fort Wayne. Here's Mahit. That's how we're doing well to come high and collect that ball. Oriasu wins some space. Mahit calling for it. Here's Mahit. He's in some space. Cross. The Chicago defender comfortably clears it out. It's going to be a corner kick for Fort Wayne. Take it quickly here. Mahit and Cousins. Mahit just lets it roll out of play, and it's going to be the referee's just having a conversation. Yeah, that's what I thought. It'd be a goal kick for Chicago. Chicago on the attack. Cross. I'm not sure if there's a cross or a shot. But either way, it's going to be a goal kick for Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne playing with just a little bit more pace here in the dying minutes. Here's Sproat going on a little trip here. Pass, just not enough to get past Finnegan. Cousins evades one defender. Here's a hit. We haven't called Sean Karani's name here in the past few minutes. He's always ready to spring, but hasn't been able to get the ball. Cousins finding him. He's in. On goal. The shot. Header. Mahik's on the ball. And the referee calls for offside from Fort Wayne. That was a good opportunity there. Good ball in from Cousins, and Karani able to use his speed. And a good heads-up play by Shalvat, just following up on it, trying to get something on it.
As you really well said, Caleb, he's ready to make the run. Karani is ready to make the run. He has fresh legs, he has the speed. So it's a matter of somebody find him and create a good situation. Great pass by Cousins, great chance for Fort Wayne FC to score. And they got to use him more to find more spaces behind the back and maybe find a goal.
And I'm surprised Antwi has played this many minutes after having played quite a few minutes. Refresh my memory, Luca. I don't believe he started the last match.
No, he entered on the end, did not start. I would say he played like 10, 15 minutes last match.
Okay. So a free kick for Chicago. They play it short. Finnegan not able to keep it in. Fort Wayne just pinned back here a little bit. Sproat. Back to Anotawi. Diaz under pressure does well to evade the Chicago player here. Trying to break quickly. Cousins lets that ball roll out of bounds. And I mentioned this last game. If you're somebody who's never played on turf or never watched a match on turf, players got to be careful letting that ball roll just a little long, because that ball rolls fast and it can go out of bounds really easily, as we saw there from Cousins. Moriyasu and Finnegan, the battle of the 17s. Both players doing well. Another good battle here in the second half between attacker and defender. First half it was Kosi Graham and Patrick Pives. In this half going the other way, Finnegan and Moriyasu here on the near touchline. Here's Antwi. Springing Karani. Karani just the one defender. He's going to get into the box. Trying to cut away, but he is crowded out by the Chicago defenders. They did very well to collapse on the ball. Mejia was on the backside. Not able to get on the end of that ball here at no fault of his own. Chicago doing very well to defend there. Here's Cousins. Gets around his defender. Trying to cut it back to Charlotte. The Chicago defender in the way, and it's going to be a Fort Wayne throw in here in the 89th minute. Here's Casas. He did well there to just check his shoulder to make sure he didn't have a defender on him as he received that ball. Good heads-up play. Here's Charlotte. Touch just getting away from him, but he's going to retain possession here. It looked like he was lining up for a shot there. And the Lake here at St. Francis is going to get a taste of the ball. Throw in for Fort Wayne, taken quickly. Karani clips it to the backside, trying to find anybody. Moriyasu in some space, but the ball not that accurate. And as that ball that rolled out of play floats on like a ship in the night,
We'll have 2 minutes of
the game goes on here at Bishop Darcy Stadium, Chicago City. The better of the two teams this second half, and the scoreline reflects it. Fort Wayne here in the last few minutes just trying to make something of it. We've got 2 minutes of extra time here in the match. Fort Wayne still under pressure. And are you surprised to see high pressure this late in the half from Chicago City?
Yeah, you gotta be fit and prepared physically to do this for 90 minutes, 91 minutes. But I think they are, in the last 10, 15 minutes, they were defending low, and maybe they just tried to push the lines a little bit higher to not suffer on this end, because Fort Wayne FC definitely is going to try to put the ball wide, maybe make some crosses, use 1v1 in the wide areas to be dangerous in these last minutes, and Chicago City got avoid it.
And Mejia, he's on his horse. The ball's going to find him. Just a little bit of a nudge from the Chicago City defender. Did well to just throw Mejia off balance. And he tried to gain the ball back, but fouls Chicago City player. In Chicago City, a yellow card, Ben Suddeth kicked the ball away after the referee had blown the whistle. Perhaps a little bit of a time wasting effort there. Nonetheless, Sudduth is put into the books here late on in the match, and there can't be much left in it. We're in the 93rd minute. Here's Finnegan. Out to D'Argento. Sproat. Tackle there, strong by McGowan. And Moriyasu. Chabot out to Karani. Fort Wayne trying to break quickly. Here's Chabot. Chicago just doing well. And getting a little bit chippy here. And another yellow card given to Chicago City. Just on the push and shove there. That was Heitkemper who received the yellow card. Moriyasu not happy about the foul earlier, and a little bit seemed like a little bit of a response there from the strong tackle from McGowan. He's the one standing over the ball here. Ball delivered into the back post. Trying to find Sproat, able to keep it in. The referee calls for offside. And that's going to do it here at Bishop Darcy Stadium for a friendly between two teams who will be vying for the playoffs this year. Both teams just missing out last year.
Fort Wayne FC 1.
Chicago City 2.
Thank you so much for your attendance here tonight.
Fort Wayne FC
Fort Wayne
1.
FC now embark upon an extended road trip over the next several weeks.
And Luca, overall, what did you think of the match here in this friendly?
On Sunday,
Great
June
first half, very intense. Both teams pushed hard in the first half. Fort Wayne able to punch first, and Chicago City being able to bounce back and score 2 goals in the first half. Second half, the intensity dropped a little. Maybe players trying to avoid injuries, maybe kind of disconnecting of the game because it was a friendly. But I would say overall, a great game. First half, very intense. Second half, a little bit worse than the first half.
By these wonderful volunteers.
And I think both coaches will be pleased with the result here tonight. You know, a friendly match, certainly not something you want to lose, but it is just a friendly after all. And, you know, Fort Wayne FC have only had about a week and a half of practice together. And so they're still trying to find their legs, still trying to come together as a team, grow as a group. And we saw quite a few young players in tonight, notably of which Sada Natawi, the goalkeeper, and then Namek Mahiek. We'll have to get the pronunciation correct, although his father, Ned, I know very well. Just apparently never knew his last name. So, that's going to do it from us here at Shields Field Stadium. And make sure to join us for our next match here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. I apologize, I keep saying Shields Field. That's the stadium from last year. Bishop Darcy Stadium here, 5 p.m. kickoff. That's our next home match. And that's not a typo. It's a rematch from match 1, Fort Wayne FC taking on Kings Hammer. If you didn't watch the match, Fort Wayne getting the better of Kings Hammer 1-0 from a spectacular goal from Alexander Frank. And that's going to do it for us here this evening from Fort Wayne, Indiana. For Luca Mota, I'm your play-by-play commentator, Caleb Saylor. Fort Wayne FC 1, Chicago City 2. Thanks for watching this USL 2 matchup friendly. This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League. So long.